Welcome, Capricorn. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your first quarter January, February, and March reading for 2025. This is a general reading, so it isn't going to resonate for all of you. If you're interested in a personal reading, information for that is in the description box below, where I feature a half-off sale through the end of this year. The sale prices have been clarified in the description so that you can apprise yourself of this opportunity if it's something that you think you might be interested in for yourself or for the holidays as a gift. So I urge you. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for all of the support that I get from all of you. So we're going to start with an overall energy. I have the Hierophant, and it's so interesting. This is a challenging card for me. This is one that I believe is reflecting some kind of a commitment you're making. For many of you, it is to an organization, to an institution. Perhaps it is the supporting of an institution or organization that is being challenged right now in the context of so much social change and shifting resources. For others of you, it is about committing to your collective, a community, a relationship, to your audiences, your student body, your clients, in a way that makes you more transparent as a service provider, so that not only do you offer whatever service you provide, but you do it in a way that is very transparent, in a way that helps others understand your motivation, how you've come to understand what you do, to offer the support that you do, and ways that others that may be interested can be supported through the process of training, education in your particular profession or field. So this is an interesting place where you become a thought leader, an education leader, a mentor potentially to others who admire you, who are inspired by you, and your commitment to lifelong learning. I'm going to pull an oracle card and hope that this reading is resonating, will resonate for you along the way. At any time that you feel that sense of connection to my vibration, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. It is greatly appreciated. And I pulled the Trust card. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And I would say, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me appropriately. It isn't that correct is a bad word. I do feel it is somewhat judgmental, and that many of us have been uh, uh, subjected to the evaluation or the judgments of others in a way that has often been unfair and has groomed us to have an unreasonable expectation of ourselves. So I do think for many Capricorns, we are awfully hard on ourselves. We have an elevated standard of productivity that is brutal, can be brutal on ourselves, most importantly, and that's something that in this moment, the ability to trust that you will do your best, that is good enough, and that others can take back, you can allow yourself to fall back on the resources around you, on the community around you, that you don't have to do it all. You don't have to have all the answers. And this is important as someone who can be an educational leader, an educator at some degree. It is the process of learning one's way. The best way for one person to learn or be creative is different from that of others. So there is a greater sense of acceptance of your own way of doing things, your own standards, your own values. I'm surprised that any Capricorn could ever feel that they are not principled at some level. Now, it doesn't mean all your principles are good. It doesn't mean all Capricorns are good people. uh, it does mean that for many of you, those of you that are present with me are very concerned with doing the right thing and doing that to the best of your ability. And I'm believing that your guidance is offering you some respite here, helping you to trust that you will do your best always, and that that is not the sense of doing the right thing is not something that makes you more endearing, more lovable, more acceptable to others. That is something you are now in a position to release. In January, you have the Lover's card. And this is about your making choices and decisions about the best way to go, the correct way for you to go, the way in which you can move forward in building something that will be productive and long term, where you can experience long term benefit. So, embedded in this card is the idea that you're choosing yourself. You're choosing the things that resonate with you, whether it's through relationships or opportunities. It is no matter. Because of the sense of wholeness and balance that you are experiencing as a result of what you have experienced, you are in a position to reflect that wholeness in all of your relationships, in all opportunities, so that you can identify what's good for you, what supports you, what's going to help you build something beyond yourself, and who you can do that with, who shares your values and goals. In February, the High Priestess is really about this greater sense of sensitivity, this greater ability to reflect on what you have learned uh, on your journey, through your experiences, how you have gained wisdom and a stronger sense of self knowledge, which has become translated into wisdom that you find in silence, you find in reflection, whether that's meditation, whether that's through your dream life, whether it's through journaling, yoga, whatever you do that creates that sacred, still space within is your operation. This is where your intuition blooms. And I also would be surprised for Capricorns who are not incredibly intuitive, incredibly sensitive. This is often an aspect of Capricorns that is not obvious because of our serious demeanor, our nose to the grindstone approach, that really what we do comes from a sense of care and love for others, of providing others with the services, the resources they need. Caretaking for many is at the bottom of the services you provide, the job you do. And that's why you take it seriously, because you feel responsible for the experiences, the fate of others. So this is really heightening that, but really allowing you to bring it in to your own experience of healing and self-knowledge, of wisdom, and understanding what's best for you is something that you can keep in silence. Everyone doesn't need to know. Everyone doesn't care, but you do. And so this is helping you to adjust that powerful fulcrum that is always looking for the just, equitable way forward, the way that's right. Even if the buck stops with you, you're going to make sure to do it in a way that is fair and just. In March, we have the Moon card. Whoa. This is a lot of a continuation, I would say, of utilizing the many skills that you learned while Pluto was in your sign of Capricorn through November of this year, 2024. So you have, after a couple of decades, really groomed your ability to face down difficult behaviors, actions, things about yourself you're not proud of, you're not comfortable with, trauma you've stuffed down. You have learned about that. You have had to face that. You have perhaps been completely deconstructed by events of loss, of difficulty, of trauma, of separation, of heartbreak, and you have built yourself up anew. Those skills are the skills that continue to serve you as you move forward, but they're better integrated now into your routines and practices. You don't wait until there's a crisis to look at things that aren't working, to face the things about yourself, primarily the things you can control, that don't feel right, that feel reactive, behaviors, circulating thoughts of anger, betrayal, resentment towards others. You have faced those down, and it looks as though March, there's another opportunity to continue to utilize those practices which have brought you a stronger sense of trust in who you are, because this is the work that you've done to earn that trust in yourself, and consequently to relax your standards, to relax your ambition, your drive to do everything just right. You're reacquainting yourself with the power that you are now experiencing is your expression. I'm going to clarify the lovers with the Tower card and the High Priestess. Okay, so she's showing up twice, which is a good sign. Not all major arcana so far. So I do believe in January you are revisiting this powerful ability to reflect, to hold space for your sacred experience, your self-meditation, prayers, dream work, whatever you do to get to that stillness within, to cultivate that inner life, that inner space, that inner healing opportunity. And the Tower is indicating that something about relationships or opportunities is rapidly shifted. There's some vision you had. Perhaps you've been in a long-term relationship for a long time, and that may be something that suddenly no longer feels relevant, productive, or enjoyable in your life. You may have resolved to being single and ready to mingle, or single and happy about it, feeling that you are okay, that you will be ready when you're ready. You're busy right now trying to heal up yourself and take care of who you are, being responsible for your own reality. And suddenly you may have an opportunity to connect with someone. You may meet someone through some kind of unusual, unpredictable experience, event, or dare say even a catastrophe, of which there are more and more in our climate uh, mutated world. So this is something not going according to plan. Perhaps there was someone who you had partnered with for a project, a business opportunity that has suddenly shifted, suddenly changed, that doesn't look the way that you had planned it to go, or suddenly something collapses and falls apart, and there's an opportunity for you to step in a new way that is ultimately, and you know it is, to your greater benefit. This is an unexpected opportunity to do things more in the way that you want to do them, less in the way perhaps that had been orchestrated by you and others. The High Priestess in February is clarified by the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Swords. In February, we have an opportunity to really surrender, to continue to surrender, to close out this requirement, this expectation of others to be a certain way, to provide certain services, skills, or to fulfill some responsibility or obligation that is no longer benefiting us. There's actual beliefs underneath these expectations that are no longer reflective of your beliefs. And it isn't that you can't surrender them, but the implications of that for others can be complicated, can be difficult, can be painful. You're showing up in a way that regularly and consistently challenges others' expectations of you. You've played a role in a long time, and this can be particularly relevant to family groups, um, communities. It can be part of a work or professional experience, but you're showing up in a way that is challenging to what others think you should do or the way things should be. And your willingness to speak that truth surprises you at times. I think you actually are surprised at your ability to uh, sometimes be the devil's advocate or sometimes to articulate your very different experience than what everyone else seems to be going along and consenting to. So this is really beautiful where you're really opening out new ideas for other people to think about, open to new experiences, willing to listen to the experiences, the truths of others, and to really look at the relevance of your truth to the experiences of other people. So, this is a kind of testing way in which you are simply allowing yourself to be curious now that you realize that things are really different than are turning out differently than you thought they would. And this is more consistent. The change, the unexpected change, the unpredictability of the impact that you have through your actions is becoming more of the rule and is consistent with Pluto's movement into Aquarius, where we have to refamiliarize ourselves with the world and with the opportunities and resources that now exist. In March, the Moon card is clarified by the Page of Cups and the Nine of Cups. Wow. There's such a strong current here of emotionality, sensitivity, heightened intuition. And there's also this way in which you are, I wouldn't say retreating, but learning to live within your own sacred being, your own sacred presence now, in the moment. And the way in which you have identified the lodestone of wealth that you can experience, you can find pleasure in your own open-heartedness, your natural skills and expressions that have often had to be shunted aside because they didn't serve others, or you hadn't found a way for them to serve others. So others ignored them, discouraged them. And until relatively recently, and this is part of your healing journey, as Pluto has moved through and exited your sign, you have learned how to move towards the things that support you, not the things that criticize you, that punish you for not conforming. You've actually taken a lot of satisfaction in finding this joy, this pleasure. This is something that has been absent from your life for far too long. And frankly, for many Capricorns, the very idea that you could want something for yourself, that you were allowed to have wants, and that you would serve those is something that you've had to learn to identify what it is you want. Being told for much of your life what it is you're supposed to want, what it is you're supposed to do, what the rewards of your actions would be. And very little of that is panned out in a way that is satisfying or that has advanced you, uh, so that you are now experiencing this joy in being sensitive, creative, open-hearted, playful, even if it's in the safe space of your home, in your dreams, in your journals, in your meditation. That is spreading out. And that joy is literally transforming your physical body. This is really youthening you for many of you who, like me, are more senior, but it's tapping into that part of you that existed freely without judgment long ago. I'm going to finish off this reading with the flora and fauna of Africa, and hoping that you've gained some insight from this reading. And I pulled the red-headed vulture. Oh, joy. And the key word are self-respect. Accept your flaws and strive to be a better you. Learn from your mistakes and move on. It will be very rewarding. I love this. Well, thank you so much, fellow Capricorns. Until next time, namaste.